Great Scott! I'm back!
But if you close your eyes,
yeah, fuck it, why don't I try it? This hair is fucking atrocious. Oh well, let's go for it. Back to the Future. So the story of Back to the Future is the story of Dr. Emmett Brown, who has just created a time machine out of a DeLorean. And Marty McFly, who is his great and dearest friend, goes over to see the time machine and record everything that's happening. But then all of a sudden, catastrophe happens and Marty McFly accidentally goes into 1955. But while he's in 1955, he accidentally changes time and it's his job to now go and fix it. While Dr. Emmett Brown in 1955 helps him go back into the future. And as I'm saying this right now, I have to say that is absolutely genius. I mean, to make a movie like this about this kind of story is absolutely pure genius, especially considering the fact it was made in 1985. It's pretty special. I mean, obviously I don't think it would have been a success unless Robert Zemeckis did a fine job directing it, and oh my god, he did an absolutely brilliant job directing this movie. I mean, it's just the way that they explain time travel, but in such a way that it feels like kids could even understand this movie. I mean, I watched this movie years ago when I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 years old, and I remember understanding it very, very easily for a film with quite a bit of swearing in it, I have to say, for kids. Now, when it comes to Back to the Future, I mean, there is undoubtedly no question that Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd had an absolutely brilliant chemistry together. Singularly, they work brilliantly as characters, but together is when the spark really shines. And I mean, it's not only just Marty and Doc either. I mean, everybody else in this movie plays their role really well. I mean, you've got George McFly, you've got Leah Thompson, who plays the girl that George McFly's after, and then you've also got Biff as well. You know, it does all work. They all work brilliantly as actors. But what I particularly love from Robert Zemeckis from when he's making this movie is the way that he's able to just capture the environment, the essence of the 80s and also the 50s as well in correspondence to that. Because I think that's why this movie works so brilliantly, is we are in 2018 right now. I mean, yeah, considering Back to the Future 2 goes into 2015, I think he was a bit optimistic there. But don't worry, I'm going to do that review later. But the thing is, with creating an environment like that, is for future generations to watch this movie, it's a very nostalgic feeling for people who watched it back in the day. And for people who watched it like today, like me for example, I just find it just brilliant to just look at the 80s and just go, oh, wow. Maybe I would have liked to go there. Even the 50s as well, the 50s had some appeal to it. I mean, there are just so many aspects of it that just work for the movie. I mean, you've got the cars, you've got the fashion, you've got the DeLorean as well, the special effects. And don't you be forgetting about that music. The music is also pretty kind of cheesy, but it works for the movie. But the thing I also love about this movie is the comedy as well. The comedy is absolutely pure genius as well. Whether that be the really famous scenes where Marty McFly accidentally creates rock and roll with Johnny B. Good, or whether he's accidentally creating the skateboard and manages to get Biff and his gang into the manure. You know, that is quite iconic, but it is quite funny when you watch it. Not only that as well, there are loads of comical elements that I love about it. Like when Marty says to Doc that Ronald Reagan is the current Prime Minister of 1985 and he just doesn't believe him, that's brilliant. The mayor as well, when Marty runs into the mayor, that's funny. The fact that Marty says heavy all the time, the fact that his jacket is some sort of navy shit. But the bit that always gets me, and I will mean always gets me, is when Marty goes into George's room and confuses him saying he's Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan. Oh my god, that is absolutely hilarious. But it's absolutely pure genius. The way that time travel and the way that he's able to use time travel, the fact that you're in 1955 and no one understands this shit yet, along with the fact that, you know, Marty is from the 80s, so he's able to apply jokes and phrases into the back in time, which people just don't understand. It just works brilliantly. It is a genius concept, executed fantastically. Now, there are of course a lot of people who do say that Back to the Future is undoubtedly the greatest 80s movie of all time. I disagree. It's not my favourite 80s movie of all time. I mean, if you came up to me saying, are you going to watch Back to the Future or are you going to watch Aliens again? I'm going to pick Aliens, because Aliens is Aliens. So it's not the perfect 80s movie for me. In fact, there are a few things that do kind of annoy me. I mean, for example, you've got the fact that, you know, Marty accidentally kisses his mother in the car later on in the film. I mean, that was disturbing as shit. It's one of those things, the moment you watch it, you're like, haha, that's kind of funny. But the second you think about it, you're like, oh. So yeah, that's not going away for quite a while. You also got Marty's original family back in 1985 before he goes back in time as well. I mean, talk about a really depressing family. I mean, my god, how the hell did he live in that place for 17 years? And I think the thing that really annoys me is the cheap tension near the end of the movie. You know, the fact that the cables coincidentally don't fit together because the tree accidentally fell down on them, and then you've got Doc nearly falling over 3 times, and then you've also got the car not starting. I mean, talk about a load of just massive bullshit coincidences that just happened during all of this. I mean, you sold me on the fact that he nearly fell over once because it does look pretty scary, but 3 times and the cables won't connect? Coincidental tree, coincidental not starting the car. It just felt cheap, really. Plus the ending as well. I mean, the ending should have ended really with Marty going out in his truck, going away into the lake or whatever, but for some reason we have to have a trilogy in this kind of franchise. I don't know why there is a trilogy, to be honest. So it ends with them going away in a futuristic flying car away to Back to the Future 2, which you don't find out till Back to the Future 2 when Biff is coincidentally watching them, by the way. But seriously, you watch Back to the Future 2 and you just kind of like, oh, they should have ended Back to the Future 1 differently. Just end with Back to the Future 1. You did well. You did good. Just end it there. But guys, I thought Back to the Future was a brilliant film. It is a really clever film. It's a brilliant concept, which is brilliantly directed and brilliantly acted, with comedy that really works, and it's just a really heartwarmingly nostalgic film. And trust me, for the movies of today, that is important. I will say that Back to the Future is a movie that I'm going to be putting on the bottom shelf. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know I've been away for quite a while. I do apologise about that, but trust me, when real world stuff happens to you, gotta sort them out, really. So I promise I will be back and doing a few more videos. Don't you worry about that. And I will see you in the future.